Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode on Laid Back the Aturozinga podcast. Our topic for this week is life of obscurity versus being out there. And our guest for this week is Dr. Alex Onyemeh, who is a medical doctor in the United States. Hello Alex, welcome to the show. Hello everyone, welcome to this week's episode on Laid Back the Aturozinga podcast. And our topic for this week is life of obscurity versus being out there. And our guest for this week is Dr. Alex Onyemeh, who is a medical doctor in the United States. Hello Alex, welcome to the show.
Hey Arinze, how are you? It's been a long time.
I'm telling you, like how many years now?
It's the last time I probably saw you was, I would say, probably in the past, I'm sure it's nothing less than 15 years or so.
It shouldn't be 15 years, but yeah, I remember. I can't remember. I think the last time, I think we hung out in Enugu.
We hung out one time.
Yeah,
I think maybe
can't
in
remember
2010 or 2011, something like that. I think so.
It should be between 2013 2014, if I can remember.
Okay.
Around that period. Yeah, but so it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's good catching up with you, honestly. How are you?
I'm okay. But
Good.
first of all, is it your first podcast?
Yes, apparently it's my first podcast, yeah.
So I'm your introduction to the podcast world then.
I know. The good thing is that it's laid back, so I think I prefer it that way.
Yeah, but what are your expectations to start with?
I think the most important thing is to pass a message, I guess, and just have a nice discussion. I feel like this feels like catching up with a friend or something. I mean, I've listened to some of your podcasts, and it seems to me that it looks that way. So,
yeah,
I think I'm looking forward to have fun.
Yeah. Okay. Hopefully we'll have fun on the show then. But let's get right into it. Yeah. For our young listeners out there, who may be keen on taking a similar career path because you have done well for yourself, you're a medical doctor now, you're in the United States. Is there any reason why you actually chose to become a medical doctor?
Well, that's a very, very good question. I feel like, to be honest with you, I feel like I was guided into the medical profession. I feel like it was something that I was kind of guided. You know how it is in school where you're doing pretty well, and then you do medicine, you're doing well, you're doing okay in biology, and then they'll say you go to medicine, you're doing okay in mathematics, and then they say you go to engineering. But at the same time too, I kind of also wanted to be a doctor at the point in time when I was growing up, but eventually I just continued with it, ran with it, and it worked out pretty well. I can't complain at this point in time. I just can't complain.
Yeah.
And right now I actually love what I'm doing too, so I think it works out pretty well.
Is there any particular area in medicine you specialize in right now?
So I am in hospital medicine. So basically I'm one of the doctors that take care of the patients in the hospital alone. So I just see patients in the hospital alone, and that's about it.
Alone, when you mean alone, without...
And it's internal medicine, to be more specific. Yes.
Interesting.
Yes.
But the funny thing, my earliest memory of you, you were so good. Yeah, you've always been smart, but you were so good in fine art, because I remember our fine art. if I remember, yeah. I'm trying to remember his name now, but I can't remember.
Mr. Ba.
Exactly.
Sure.
You really like, because you were so good at drawing back then. Yeah.
Yes, I loved fine arts. I actually enjoyed fine arts. Until now, I still love the arts too. I don't know whether I would have been a good artist in the end. I was okay. I felt in my mind that I was okay. But I don't think it would have been a career path. The way things are in Nigeria. How many of our parents at that time would want us to, come out and just say we want to be a fine artist?
Yeah. But since you've become a doctor and you've actually excelled in your career, have you ever thought about actually like combining both skills, like merging the 5 hours skills you got doing the 5 hours and actually trying to merge it with medicine in any way? Have you ever thought about that?
So I probably have, but when you don't use this skill for a very long time, it just escapes you completely.
Yeah.
So I can tell you that skill was probably dropped at the point in time in secondary school, by senior secondary. It was completely dropped. So being without it for that long, I doubt if I can go back. I think from my own end, I would only appreciate it. And I feel like on the flip side, if my kids decide that this is what they think they want to do in the future, I'm going to go all out to support them. But I think, the thinking of our parents during that time, it's kind of understandable with the way things are. It's difficult for someone.
Honestly, I don't blame them. It was all about security and.
Correct.
They wanted to for their children. So
exactly, they were looking out for their interests.
Yeah, I get that. But let's get right into our main topic. Yeah. When we say obscurity and being out there, what do they actually mean in terms of career and life in general?
So I think there are several ways to see that topic. It's a pretty deep topic, like I feel like if we start it's difficult to end, but I think the way we have to see this topic is we have to see it on through different perspectives. We have to see it from the perspective of career, and at the same time we have to also see it through the perspective of living, like general living, how you live your life and stuff like that. So I think essentially the best for me, if that's okay with you, I think what I feel will generate more interest to listeners, again, like I said, if it's okay with you, is if we talk about it in terms of life in general. You understand? So I feel like living in obscurity and being out there are two sides of a coin, opposite spectrum, one on each side of each other. So living in obscurity essentially means when you're trying to live life on the down low. If I might say that. You don't want to have your business out in public. You want to just live life, enjoy life without anybody or your neighbor knowing what is going on with you. And then having a very close and tight-knit circle where all your information is just only within those people. On the other hand, like I said, on the other side of the spectrum, you have somebody being out there. The person is out there. Everyone knows their business. The social media over the past couple of years has amplified that aspect of life. And a lot of people take to showing up, what they're up to. Facebook has made it in such a way that when someone is traveling, you see an update about somebody traveling from one country to the other. There's an update about what you're eating, what you're doing, whether you're sleeping, whether you're driving, what kind of clothes you wear, what kind of, whatever you're doing, even if you're breathing. So it's two completely opposite sides of the coin. So that's what I think, that's what I think that statement essentially, the life of obscurity versus the life of being out there, that's what it is essentially.
Fair. So on the spectrum of life per se, they are on both opposite ends, kind of.
Correct.
Fair. But when we say obscurity, is it the same thing as mystery, being mysterious?
So that's a good question. You know what? I think there is a very fine line between obscurity and being mysterious. I feel like some people are purposefully mysterious and they like it that way. On the other hand, there are people who just don't care about having people knowing about
what they do.
They do. So I think the difference might be the intentionality, if I might use that word.
Yeah.
So whether you're intentional, if you're being intentional, trying to avoid people from knowing exactly what you do, then I think that goes closer to being mysterious, than obscure. If you get what I mean.
Yeah, but fair. But when it comes to before I take it to career and in the workplace, but let me just focus on life since you want to focus on it for a bit. So, but I've been a writer myself. I'm a writer, not say I've been a writer. I'm a writer. So, but I've had artists, writers, and they tell me to create good art or good piece of work, writing, like they need to go into obscurity, away from the noise. So, do you think people actually use obscurity as a place to hide? I know they don't want to be out. They don't want people to know what's going on in their lives. Like they like to live life on the down low. But do you think some people also use it as a way because they are scared to be criticized, so they use it to hide, so they don't get criticized as well?
I 100% agree with you. Not being in the limelight takes you away from criticism. It takes you away from comments. It's almost like blocking the comments or something like that.
That can be hurtful, actually.
Yes. So it's a way to prevent all those negative light coming into you, if there's going to be negative light as well, because we also have to accept that there can be positive light to it.
Yeah.
But I think I agree with you on that. I think a lot of people might use it to prevent people who probably cannot take negative feedback. Would probably want to live like that in obscurity, do their things by the side. In fact, talking about writing too, I don't know, I mean, you're a writer, so now, do you think, and I'm just trying to open this question to see whether, what your thoughts, I don't have an answer to it, but do you think, when writers write with pseudonyms, do you think that is also a way of being obscure? Because I think that might be a way of being obscure, with people not knowing who they are.
There are many. That's a good question, actually. It depends on the aim of the person, or the aim of the writer. For example, I've seen people who write in anonymity because maybe where they work, they've tried as much as possible to write, and nobody's paying attention to them, so they decided to write, and then most anonymity, and then they submit, and their work is submitted. You see what I mean? Because nobody, when they come out to say, "Oh, I'm the person writing this," so they decided to go the other way around and like write in obscurity, and then at the end of the day, their work gets published. You see what I mean? Then there are some people who are because they don't want to be known. Sometimes, like you said, it's about criticism as well. They don't want to be known, or they don't want the negative attack and criticism that's going to come with it, because they know they're going to be controversial, or maybe they're going to shed some light on something that some people are doing, like some powerful people are doing. So they try as much as possible not to even mention their names and write obscurity. So it depends, and you don't blame them as well. So it depends on the work, right? Because if you write some things about some powerful people, companies, individuals, trust me, they may go to the ends of the earth to make your life
to bring you down. Correct. Yeah.
So so it actually depends on what the person is writing about or for. You see what I mean? So it depends.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Because but if you look at it that way, but let me take it to religion for example. In Christianity, Christians are actually encouraged all the time to give. Like if you want to give, make sure your left hand doesn't know that you've given with the right hand. So it's like teaching you a life of obscurity. If you want to give, but don't make noise about it. Don't let people know you've given. All right. Just give without letting everybody know that you've given something. But in recent times, we've seen people trying as much as possible to be out there. When they give, they want to make a video, they want to make take pictures,
yes,
so that they've.
yes.
So, what do you think about that?
So you see, that's why I kind of chose this topic because it's deep. It goes through different parts of life.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about religion now. So, yes, there are two different. There's a life of obscurity in religion, and then there's that other. There's that life of being out there in religion. So, I feel that. You know what? I feel like it could potentially depend on. It could potentially depend on two things. One, the individual.
Yeah.
And it could also depend on the using Christianity as an example. We're using Christianity as an example because both of us are Christians.
We don't know, to be fair, so people don't take it.
Yes. So using that as an example, it will, using Christianity as an example, you could see those two parts playing out, because Christian denominations can also affect those things. So starting with the individuals, there are individuals that are out of, like, I grew up Catholic, right? And I grew up during the times when they used to have bazaars in the village and bazaars during the Christmas period, right? So there are people who would want to come out and during harvest and bazaar, that's what they call it. So during harvest you see people who come in and then they are donating 100,000 naira, donating 2 million naira. Everyone is clapping. Everybody knows that they are donating that. He's coming out into the pulpit, in front of the pulpit, and saying how much he's donating. On the other hand, I also know of some people during that same bazaar that'll be anonymous and say, "I'm going to donate 5 million," and nobody knows who it is except the parish priest who knows.
Yeah.
So it's individualistic, it depends. And I feel like people do it because, at that time, it's different now. There's a lot of insecurity going on back home now. So, so I feel like most people won't be doing that kind of thing, won't be out there, again as before. Yeah. So I feel like there were fewer people who were anonymous back then. And I think they were just doing it again to avoid just any form of light coming to them. They want to do it to, I think it's just basically for personal reasons. They prefer being that way. They just don't want all the accolades, don't want people coming around. Again, too, it could be a way of doing it to avoid people coming to, beg them to get something, to get favors from them. So I feel like there are different reasons why that might happen.
But in the context of Christianity, I'm just curious because the Bible even says if you want to give, and like you don't need to make noise about it. But how come during bazaar and it's encouraged? I'm just curious now. Why is it even encouraged then? Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I have no idea, but it's we all grew up with that. I know if I can remember what I think you're Anglican.
We never questioned it, but I'm just thinking about it now. Or like we never questioned it, but it's actually interesting now. Like, why is it actually allowed? Whereas in the Bible we are told, okay, do you know what? If you want to give, be a giver, help people. You don't have to make noise about it. Just give and just go. So why is it then during bazaar and the harvest people are encouraged to actually come and say we gave this, we gave that, we gave why?
It's just completely opposite of what is
exactly.
So I think again that this is our own Nigerian flavor of Christianity too. Every place has their own. If you've been in the UK, I've been in the US. It's a completely different thing here. They don't do things like that, but it's our own flavor. I'll say that it's interesting. I mean, I don't know about you, but I enjoyed Harvest and Bazaar period too. So it was kind of interesting at the point in time, but that is just how it is. And again, fast forward to now, things have changed. Nobody's going to come out to say they're giving 5 million now.
Nah.
You can't even do it.
But that's actually interesting. But anyway, let's take it to I know you say you want to focus on life, but I hope you don't mind. Let's look at your career.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
In the 21st century, right now, for you to build a successful career in the 21st century, where you have a lot of people vying for different jobs, you must work smart. You see what I mean? And you must work smart to the point that you become known within your industry, one way or the other. So, if you end up saying, assuming there's somebody who is actually a very good hard worker, because I've noticed at the end of the day, it's not just about being smart, book smart or whatever. You still need people, emotional intelligence, the rest of them.
Emotional intelligence, social intelligence, intelligence, yeah.
So imagine toiling in obscurity. You're a hard worker. You're toiling of obscurity. At the end of the day, you're not rewarded for all your labor. You don't get promotions, you don't get opportunities or the recognition or applaudis you deserve. What do you think somebody who really wants to be in the background, do the hard work and be in the background, how do you think the person should navigate this?
That's an interesting question, honestly. So, my view in terms of that, life of obscurity versus being out there in the workplace and in career is that. So I feel like it depends on the career, right?
Yeah.
So, if you are a writer, like we talked about, you can achieve everything you want to do with being in the background, with being obscure, with being anonymous, or whatever you want to call it. But there are some things where you cannot achieve. You're not even going to go far in your career path if you don't at least come out.
Yeah.
Taking for instance, the work life in the United States, from my own experience, somehow it does not allow you to be really obscure. Everybody wants you. You find out that people who go far are people who are out there.
Yeah.
You don't need to be out there to the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah, but you must be out.
You have to do something. Yeah. You have to show your worth. Yeah. You have to show. You have to bring something to the table.
Yeah.
So if you are quiet, if you decide to take it to be in the background, you're probably going to be the first person to be fired when it's time to cut down staff.
And that's the truth, because you may be the one doing all the work, but because they don't know you,
yes,
you may be the one to lose your job.
Yeah,
that's true.
So I think it's good. It has its advantages to be out there, to make your worth known. To the people who work, they need to know what a company wants to know that you're worth something, right? Yeah. So you have to be the one to make that effort to show them that. Yes, you could use metrics to gauge how productive somebody is and everything, but sometimes that person coming out, that person coming out and putting themselves out there helps a whole lot. It probably would propel you to places you wouldn't ideally be in.
Yeah. That's why they say people's skills are important. That's
very important. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, most decisions are made behind closed doors, and you will not even be there. Mm-hmm. So imagine a situation where you are always you are hiding, nobody knows you, but you're a smart person. You do a lot of come and go, but nobody knows you. When they are talking about promotions in your absence, they'll talk about maybe George or Julia, who is always out there. You may be smarter than them, but because they know who they will push them forward before they talk about you. So I remember there was an article I read on LinkedIn. Yeah, I think it was written by Wayne Sutton. I'm not sure. He said something that obscurity is your biggest enemy. So, but in this context, he was linking it to sales and marketing because he's in sales and marketing.
Yeah.
He said that if you remain obscure when it comes to sales and marketing, that's the death of your business. Your business will die. You won't get customers. Nobody knows who you are. So how are they going to buy from somebody they don't know? It does not make any sense. But in the context of career as well, career is all about networking, which is still sales and marketing.
Exactly.
So So what do you think about that? Like, if one decides to say, okay, you know what, I'm gonna stay. I know I'm smart. I know my stuff, so I'm going to remain obscure. I don't need to actually be out there, do the sales and marketing network. How far do you think they are going to go in their careers? No matter how much smart they are, what do you think they're gonna?
In the kind of with the way things are right now, Arins, especially this climbs both of us find ourselves in now. You're just not going to survive that way. You have to network. You have to meet people. You have to develop interpersonal skills. You have to be able to relate to the people you have. Take for instance, the US exams getting into residency here. Pretty tough exams, and there are pretty smart people that actually smash these exams. But there is also a test, and I know even for the licensing exams in the UK for medical doctors as well, there's always that test where they try to find out your communication skills, and then you should pass the communications exams for them, because they need to have a way to gauge whether you're able to communicate with your patient. So once you pass that, then that's another step passed. The final step for the US exams and getting into residency is having an interview with the program. Now, in that program, they've done, before you come for that interview, they've already done, your medical knowledge test, and you probably passed it at that time. They also did a communications test, and you passed it at that time. The only thing left in that interview is to see how personable you are. They want to see, whether you can communicate with people. They want to see whether you can mingle with people. They want to see whether you can, weave through the system and survive through that system. So it's a snapshot, but they're able to get a fair idea of how you probably do during that interview. Okay. Now, during that interview, I can tell you that there are people who have very crazy scores, astronomical scores. And then when they come there and they're not able to talk with the program director, they're not able to talk with the fellow residents there, and they're not able to be personable, that program decides not to take them, even though they have very crazy scores.
Oh, wow.
They would rather take somebody who is able to do all those things, right? That has a lower score than somebody who has a higher score that can't do all those things. Because again, what we see when we see individuals, we see people. We see the people for who they are first. You don't see the scores written all over their face.
Nobody cares about your scores.
Nobody cares about things like that, So you have to be able to network. You have to be able to talk with people. You have to be able to come out to bring it. Like I said before, bring your work and show them. You have to bring something to the table. That's the only way you can feed. So that's the way I see it. I feel like you have to. You just have to. That networking has to. We do it. Everyone does some kind of networking every day, but you just have to go that extra mile if you want to get a particular job you really want.
Especially in adulthood, where it becomes harder to even make friends. You have to force yourself out there. If there's any event, I gave some advice to some people recently, like their office will have like maybe like just office gathering on one Friday evening. They say they want to go, and I tell them, to me, that's not that's not good for your career.
It is not.
Even if you don't drink alcohol, just go there, mingle with people, drink water, at least talk with 2, 3, 4 people, at least, and then you can go. But saying you don't want to go, a lot of people will go and make more connections that will actually help them, and then you'll be here talking and saying, oh, this person is actually getting more attention than me, but they don't know you.
They don't know you. I agree. Especially like you said, the mixers and all those hangouts, company hangouts, evening drinks, those things are important. It's very important to have those kind of functions to happen. You can, people will tell you how they've probably got promoted, just because of going for those things. You don't need to go there and be a drunk, but at least you go there and interact. There's a reason for all that, So.
No, but a lot of people need to understand this. There's this book, I don't know if you've read this book, Mastery by Robert Greene.
No.
I think you should read it, and I think everybody wants to be a master in any field, whether it is medicine. I think everybody needs to read it, because there's a particular section he kept on talking about social intelligence before he even talked about emotional intelligence, because he said you see a lot of people, he gave even examples, I can't remember their names, even great scientists, and how they struggled. You see them, they are so smart. Then, or maybe let's say there's something happening in the workplace, everybody's contributing money to buy alcohol, and they'll say, oh, I don't drink alcohol. Oh no, I just want to be in bar, I just want to do my work. Then the person will now start noticing, they'll start seeing people like mess with his or her work to make sure, and they'll start wondering, okay, what did I do now? The thing you did is because you made them feel like you made them feel judged. You could have just like a pound, you are just say, okay, do you know what? I don't drink, but I'm contributing to this. Let me just support you people. They'll feel like you're part of them and part of the team, and nobody will take it personal. But once you start doing, oh, I don't drink, and why should I put money there? They will make your life a living hell.
They will. It's again, like, I think COVID, when COVID hit and there were a lot of job losses, you'd imagine that it's people like that would probably lose their job first.
Because if your colleagues once they start complaining, oh, I don't like working with Alex, oh, Alex is not a team player, Alex is this. Sometimes I'm not saying it may come off negative, no, but it's all about putting on a particular or wearing a particular cap in the social arena. You don't need to, even if you're not a drinker, you can contribute and just go your way. Just get along and just move on. But for especially for smart people can be can be hard to actually amend their ways, or can be hard to be amenable.
Smart people is so difficult for them.
It's so difficult. I noticed it. Especially social skills. It's so, because most of the time, I don't know why. I don't know if it is pride. I don't know if it's whatever it is. But you tend to notice that people they find it hard to. I don't know what it is like.
So what I feel like, Ariza, is I think it has to do with, smart people so much, they believe in themselves so much,
a lot,
and they feel like they can do it all alone.
Yeah.
So I think it borders on that. It really, really borders on that. They feel like they can be in the background and be doing their thing and be achieving all the things they want to achieve. But you still have to have that social intelligence to weave through life.
Yeah.
Emotional intelligence as well to interact with people as well. So it's a little bit complex, and I've heard about hospitals that just rejected somebody who had an exceptionally high score after they found out that he wasn't personable. I've heard that has happened several times. So it's something I feel like we need to work on. But I feel like my own take to that life of obscurity versus
being out
there, I think I'd rather be in the middle. I think it makes sense to have just a little bit of
balance.
Yes, a little bit of balance in both of them. I think it makes more sense if you do it that way.
No. I think that's the best thing. Like that. Okay, that's my own approach to things, because I think naturally, I think I'm a private person without even forcing myself to be. But assuming if I don't put my podcast out there, nobody would know about my podcast. It does not make any sense.
Exactly. You have to put it. Yeah.
So no matter how private I am and how I enjoy the life of obscurity, I still know that if I don't put myself out there and be consistently put myself out there, nobody's going to know me and nobody's going to know my podcast. Nobody's going to know what I'm about. That I'm this. I'm doing this. It's life. No, even if you're the smartest person on earth and people do not know that this is what Alex does. When it comes to when you're looking for somebody to consult on important issues, they look for that person who is out there. It's the truth. And that person, because he's out there, he's going to charge them more compared to what are going to charge them, because nobody knows you. It's life.
Yeah. And like there's an Igbo saying interpreted says, the Igbo saying says, a good market sells itself.
Yes.
You have to bring yourself out to a certain extent to tell people what you're all about. Then you take it up from there. But I also feel that what do you think? The influence of social media on this discussion. What do you think has happened? Because I feel like it has propelled it to levels that we never ever expected. At least both of us we are of the generation that grew up before social media and then entered into social media. What do you think about it?
The thing is, social media can be good and bad, and this is the thing. For example, like we are similar in such a way. Like if I travel, if you travel, maybe you are like that as well. I don't like posting I'm here. I may post it, but that's when I'm back too, mostly after.
Correct.
Maybe but but still, I don't fault people who post, because look at this. Like I've noticed, like there's a lot of people believe in trends. I don't. Like if somebody goes to Marrakesh and posts, you notice that a lot of people will now start going to Marrakesh.
Yes.
But the thing, maybe because of the kind of person I don't like that everybody's rushing to it, because I'm not a trendy person. But still. Yeah. If I didn't know about Marrakesh, seeing that person's post actually gives me that exposure and knowledge. Oh, there's this good place to actually visit as well. You see what I mean? Now I have the knowledge and I start researching on Marrakesh. So it's a two-way thing. So it's a two-way thing, like, because putting yourself out there too much can put people under an enormous pressure to always put up a facade or whatever for people to say that okay, that this. I don't think you need that. But still, on the other side of it, it gives other people who are watching also the knowledge and say, oh, there's Marrakesh, oh, there's Croatia, oh, I didn't know about Croatia, oh, I did. You see what I mean? Places you never thought about, and then you start researching on it, and then you say, okay, maybe I'll go to this place during my next holiday. Maybe I'll check it out. You see what I mean? So it's a two-way thing. Like you said, and I think the person is just to find a balance, which is hard. But it's just find a balance and how you can actually stay in the background and be out there as well, because you can actually learn a lot of things from it. But it can also be detrimental as well.
It can be detrimental. I feel like there are a lot of social pressures over the past couple of years.
I agree.
When people see things like this, see you posting, see you entering business class and taking a picture in it, and stuff like that. People, the other person is it goes two ways. The other person is like, you know what, I'm going to work hard to see whether I can get the money to do this.
Yeah.
On the other hand, it also puts a lot of pressure on some people to do the wrong things,
to measure up.
To measure up, yes.
Yeah.
And it's one of the social problems we're having in Nigeria right now. We can even trace
all over the world. It's not just Nigeria.
All over the world. Yeah, correct. Yeah, you're correct.
It's not just,
but
all over the world. Yeah.
All over the world. It's one of the.
It's a problem because if you look at young people, like working in the hospital now, maybe you have like young doctors you talk to, you see that some things, sometimes they see on TikTok and all, they start thinking, oh, they are not their career is not going as compared to that of their peers who are maybe in the art, so like they start comparing immediately. So it's all over the place. It has made a lot of people, like I said, it's good and bad, but due to the fact that a lot of people end up comparing is a thief of joy. So people end up being depressed, being so sad, even though they're doing well for themselves. But they just start because they've seen, oh, okay, I'm happy now. All of a sudden they see Alex flying in the business class. Oh my God, this is the same person I started messing with. They start comparing. Instead of being happy for themselves, they're actually doing really well.
Doing well, yes. Social pressures. It makes, it creates a lot of discontent, so but I agree with you. I think a balance is good, and again, like you said, I actually don't fault people who want to put it out there.
No, at all. Because you still learn something. You can still learn, like I said, you can still learn different holiday destinations. So many things you can actually learn from.
And it's also a coping mechanism for some people in life too.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
we have to allow those things to go.
Yeah, I agree. But because of time, let me ask you a final question. If, assuming now that you've been chosen as part of the US envoy, like to lead medical delegates, to travel around Africa, so West Africa to be precise. Let's use West Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon to be very precise, to solve a lot of health issues. And you guys need to be out there, but you want to remain in obscurity. You don't want people to know so much about what you're doing, but the work requires you to be out there, to be out there taking pictures, doing press release, doing interviews, and all of. How do you think you would handle this from a point of obscurity?
I think for me, it's just like what you said about, your podcast. You have to bring it out for people to see. I think it's a great job to have, right? I would be thrilled to have that job, to be honest with you. And I'll put it out there. I am definitely going to put it out there for people to see. And, do the press releases and all those things. I'm just going to do it because, we're doing a great job. We're probably, helping a lot of people, and it's right. It's only right for people to know what we're doing. And again, some of these kind of jobs entail putting out updates and including picture updates, video updates.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have to do those things because you can't just go there and just do things in obscurity and just say you've done. You have to show how you spend the money, right? So, so I think for me, to answer your question, I think for me, I'll be out there. I'll definitely show people, hey, this is what I
do. Yeah, and this is the impact they're trying to make. Yeah,
correct. Yeah.
But because it's something we need to think about, because if you say you want to live a life of obscurity and then you really want to be out there making impact, I think the person needs to have a little bit of rethink as well, because if you need to make that impact, you must be in the media. Why do you think politics and media go hand in hand? If you notice, all over the world, politicians always buy media companies, one way or the other.
They do.
It's because if they are not out there, the people will not know them, and they will not.
No, nobody's gonna know them. Yeah.
And they will not vote for them. So it's still the same thing. If you really want to make impact in the world, whether it is medicine, and you want to say, okay, let's say we're going to Burundi or Gambia, and want to do something there, If you do not put the pictures out there, because everybody has a busy life, if you do not put the pictures out there, the communique out there, the press release, nobody's going to know about it.
Yes, no one is going to know, and it has to be there. Again, as a politician too, you have to be accountable to your people, right? Yeah. So you have to put everything out there for people to see.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all the time we have for this week. Thank you so much, Dr. Alex.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
It's been fun, Arinze. It's been fun catching up with you.
So you enjoyed your first podcast, right?
I wish all podcasts are like this, honestly. It's just chill. I didn't go to rehearse or anything. There's nothing. It's just, I just wanted to have a nice discussion with you. That's all.
No. To be honest, like I keep saying, I want the podcast to be a laid back conversation, but we can talk you can talk about so many informative, educative, entertaining topics, but let it be laid back, and you have a lot of experts coming to talk about different things. It doesn't have to be so serious, but it still pass a serious message across.
Correct. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much, and hopefully we'll do this again.
No problem. Feel free anytime. It's been fun.